Hi, and welcome to Philanthropy Porch Ponderings. I'm Lisa Shamola, and we are again here on my porch in New Orleans. The weather has improved significantly this week. It is in the upper 70s to low 80 degrees Fahrenheit, so quite a shift from earlier this month when it was pretty chilly, rainy, and windy. It is a beautiful, beautiful day here. And today we are going to talk about how to avoid the overwhelm. Even if you are not a nonprofit professional, you may find some tips and some advice from today's episode that can be helpful to you as we are dealing with very full plates these days. Before we get started, a few reminders to like, subscribe, and share the channel. There is a bell icon down below the video. If you click that, you'll receive a notification every time there's a new episode uploaded. So how do we avoid that drowning feeling? How do we avoid feeling so overwhelmed that we don't even want to get started with something, or maybe we want to give up before we see the project to its completion? A few things that have been helpful to me and helpful to some of my colleagues, and I would also love to hear some of what has been helpful to you. So if you wouldn't mind dropping some comments down below or connecting with us on social media. But first and foremost, I feel what's critical in these times of avoiding feeling overwhelmed is to make a list. To sit down, whether it is to write one out by hand, old school style, or by using some sort of technology to make a list of everything that you need to accomplish. Personally, I like using an online resource called Asana, and that's spelled A-S-A-N-A. I'll drop a link down below so you can check it out. There is a free and a paid version, and it allows you to put together tasks. It also allows you to collaborate with other people if you are collaborating on projects in that way. But you can organize your tasks by project. It lets you color code, and it lets you put deadlines into your tasks, which I feel is the next critical step to avoid feeling overwhelmed, is to truly sit down and evaluate deadlines and to prioritize that list by those deadlines. What has to be accomplished today? What, if you do not get done today, is a dropped ball in the juggling of life? And what would you maybe like to get done today, but if it waits another day or so, it's not traumatic? So being realistic with yourself about that. Trust me, in my Asana dashboard, I am changing deadlines quite a bit based on what ends up coming at me in a day. And that's another tip to remember, is it's important to be flexible and realize that tasks and requests and things will come at you that you didn't plan for at the beginning of the day. And they may be those tasks that need to be accomplished today, or the outcome is traumatic. So taking a minute and recognizing some need for flexibility is important in your day. And that's okay. Life happens, and if you end up at the end of the day feeling like, oh, I have this to-do list and I didn't really get much of anything done, strategy I read an article about a couple years back was, alongside your to-do list, keep a running done list. Keep a list of all the things that you did accomplish today, whether they were also on your to-do list or not. Because if you're someone who gets a big sense of accomplishment by knowing what you got done that day, then that is going to be helpful to you at the end of the day. Another piece of advice is sometimes just get started and just accomplish one small task, one small piece of a project. When you sit back and think about all that you have to do, it can be really overwhelming sometimes. But if you think about breaking up your project, your tasks, your to-do list into chunks and just accomplishing them a little bit at a time, it's a lot like the strategy I've heard about getting out of financial debt, the snowball strategy, right? Where you're trying to just pay off a small bill, and then you have that sense of accomplishment that you achieved something, and that gives you the strength and the confidence and the courage to tackle the next bill. And so it could be the same way with the task, right? Sometimes just getting started gives you that momentum to keep moving forward. And even within all that momentum, it is important to make sure to take time for breaks. And And this is everything from just making sure there's a little time in your calendar where you can to put buffer between meetings, even just 10 or 15 minutes to be able to, we spend so much time on screen nowadays and on calls and running from one thing to the other, that to be able to mentally switch gears and to have that minute to take a breath and pause is useful. So even scheduling out those break appointments on your calendar, if that helps you stay organized, just think about making time for that. And finally, I have found one of the most helpful tips is to be able to ask for what you need, whether that is help on a task, whether that is grace from someone when you have promised something and because you've needed to be flexible and something else more urgent has come up that you've got to go back and renegotiate that deadline. Or whether it's just to have a friend to vent to, that you are so overwhelmed and so stressed and you're not sure how you're going to get through it, and to ask for that support and that moral encouragement. So don't be afraid to ask for what you need. And oftentimes you'll have the opportunity to return that favor down the road. So quick recap, how do we keep from feeling overwhelmed? A few things that are helpful are making a list, evaluating deadlines, being flexible, just getting started with the small parts, making sure to take breaks for recharge, and asking for what you need. I hope that something in here helps you feel a little less overwhelmed as you move forward this week. And again, I'd love to hear if there's anything in there that resonated with you, or maybe there's something that I didn't mention that's been helpful that you'd like to share with the audience. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel. You can also follow Philanthropy on all the social media outlets, and I hope you have a great rest of the day and stay fabulous.